There is a woman I want to tell you about. Her name is Marisol Bennett. She's 52, recently retired after 31 years as a high school principal in Savannah, Georgia. And for the first few months of retirement, she told me everything felt fine. Then it didn't. Marisol described it to her daughter on a Sunday phone call in a sentence I have not been able to stop thinking about. She said, "I don't feel like I've disappeared. I feel like I've been demoted to maintenance." The house ran, meals happened, laundry got done, but nothing in her day felt lived in anymore. It felt administered. Her daughter, Camille, sent her a link that same evening, the elegant morning routine checklist, the one built around the 12 rituals of women who protect their vitality and presence after 40, with a short message attached. "Try this before you decide retirement did this to you, Mom." Marisol told me she opened it expecting another list of productivity tips. What she found instead was almost entirely about ritual, not achievement. Fresh stems, not arrangements. A window opened each morning for real air, a glass of water taken slowly at a table before anything else. She started with one item, flowers, every single week, placed where she'd see them first thing. Within 2 weeks, she'd added more. A specific candle, lit only in the evening, never during the day. The bedroom window opened first thing, exactly as the checklist described. For the cortisol regulation section, she'd almost skipped over. The consequence arrived quietly. Her husband, 3 weeks in, looked at her over dinner and said, without any prompting, "You seem lit up again." She hadn't heard that in years. The following month, for the first time since her daughters left for college, she hosted a Sunday dinner at her own table again. Because, she told me, the table finally felt like somewhere worth gathering people. Her own realization, the one she keeps returning to, is this. Retirement hadn't taken anything from her. She had simply stopped treating her own days as worth dressing for. And that is precisely what I want to talk to you about today. The small, deliberate luxuries that separate a life that is merely functioning from a life that is actually being lived. Before we go further, if you don't already have it, I want you to get the Elegant Morning Routine Checklist, the exact resource that started this shift for Marisol. It's free. It walks you through 12 rituals sophisticated women use to protect their hormones, their skin, their energy, and their presence after 40. It's in the description below this video or scan the QR code on your screen, and I want every woman watching to have it before this ends. My name is 𝐈𝐬𝐼𝐷. Every week, I bring this community the information that nobody else is willing to say plainly. That community is called the Undeniables. If you are new here, subscribe right now. You belong here. And drop the city you are watching from in the comments below. I am always down there reading. I want to know where my fellow Undeniables are. Now, let's get into it. The first luxury is fresh flowers always, and never an arrangement. I've watched this distinction matter more than almost anything else on this list. A florist I know in the West Village, who supplies several of the townhouses on her block weekly, told me the women who buy loose stems every week, not bouquets, not reserved for occasions, are training their eye to notice beauty as something ordinary rather than exceptional. Over time, that noticing changes how a woman moves through her own home. It signals to the rest of your life that you are worth the small extension of care. Even on a Tuesday, nobody else will remember. Marisol's flowers were the first thing she changed, almost by accident, because it was the cheapest item on the list. They ended up being the thing that changed her fastest, and the one she now says she'd never let lapse again. Now that we've covered the first luxury, I want to mention something. Everything we're walking through today lives inside something larger. I built from 15 years of exactly this kind of observation, called the Undeniables Complete System. It's the same resource behind Marisol's checklist, taken to its full depth, and I'll come back to it once we finish this list. The second luxury is a candle lit only after a fixed hour, never during the day. This is a boundary, not a decoration. Research on light and circadian rhythm out of Harvard has shown that warm, low, amber-toned light in the evening genuinely shifts the nervous system away from alertness and toward rest, in a way overhead lighting simply cannot replicate. But beyond the biology, the ritual of lighting it does something psychological. It signals to you, specifically, that the working day has ended, whether or not your inbox agrees. I know a corporate attorney in Atlanta who lights hers at exactly 7 o'clock, without exception, even on nights she's still working from her kitchen table. She told me it's the only signal her brain fully believes anymore. Everything else, she said, it's learned to ignore. The third luxury is real bedding. Not decorative, not seasonal, not chosen for how it photographs. Quality, chosen for how it feels against skin for 8 hours every night. A dermatologist I've consulted with in New York told me that fabric contact during sleep matters more for skin health than most of the skincare regimens her patients spend hundreds of dollars on monthly. Egyptian cotton, real linen, fine natural fibers that actually breathe instead of trapping heat. It signals that comfort is not an afterthought in your life, tucked in wherever budget allows, but an actual standard you hold consistently. I know a woman, a retired judge in Charleston, who replaced her sheets the year she turned 50 and told me it was the single best money she has ever spent on herself. Full stop. The fourth luxury is a signature piece of jewelry, worn near daily rather than saved for occasions that may never arrive. An etiquette coach I've worked with for years told me something that stayed with me. The women who are consistently described as having presence are very often wearing the same meaningful piece day after day, not rotating through a large collection to avoid repetition. It signals identity rather than display, something chosen deliberately, not simply owned and forgotten in a drawer. I know a gallery owner in Soho who has worn her grandmother's ring every single day for 11 years. People remember her by it. Clients ask about it before they ask about the art. It has become quietly part of how she is recognized in a room full of strangers. The fifth luxury is a magnesium ritual before bed, a foot bath, or flakes dissolved slowly into a warm bath, taken as an actual event rather than squeezed in. A sleep physician I know in Charleston told me magnesium's calming effect on the nervous system is well documented in clinical literature, but she was equally clear that the ritual surrounding it matters nearly as much as the mineral itself. The slowing down, the water, the deliberate transition out of the day, it signals that your evening is not simply the absence of your day's obligations, something that happens to you once the to-do list runs out. It is its own event, planned for, protected. I know a hospice nurse in Savannah who does this every single night, she told me, precisely because her days demand so much stillness from her that she has to practice receiving it herself. The sixth luxury is an unhurried morning beverage, taken sitting down, in a real cup, before a single obligation of the day begins. A study from Cornell on morning routines and stress hormones found that even 5 unhurried minutes before the day's first demand meaningfully lowers cortisol response for hours afterward, compared with mornings that begin already in motion. It signals to your own nervous system, before anyone else even wakes up, that you, not your inbox, not your calendar, set the pace of your day. I know a pediatrician in Charlotte who wakes 20 minutes earlier than she needs to, specifically to sit at her own table with her coffee before her children are awake. She told me it's the only 20 minutes of her day that belong entirely to her. The seventh luxury is reading an actual physical book before bed, rather than scrolling a phone in the dark. A study published through the Harvard Business Review on evening habits and next-day cognitive performance found that screen use before sleep measurably degrades both mood and decision-making capacity the following day, in ways most people never trace back to the night before. It signals that your mind deserves a genuine transition into rest, not one more feed of information demanding a reaction. I know a hand surgeon in New York who reads 20 pages every single night, no exceptions, regardless of how late a surgery ran that day. She told me it is the only appointment on her calendar she has never once let herself cancel. The eighth luxury is opening a window every single morning, the exact habit from the checklist that began Marisol's shift, and one of the simplest on this entire list. A study out of the University of Chicago on indoor air and cognitive alertness found that fresh air exposure early in the day is linked to sharper focus and better mood regulation than climate-controlled air alone provides, even for a few minutes. It signals that your home is a living space that breathes along with you, not a sealed container you simply pass through. Marisol told me this was the item she nearly skipped as too small to matter. It became, instead, the habit her husband noticed within the first week, before he could even name what had changed. The 9th luxury is a genuinely phone-free hour each evening, not silenced, not face down, but physically put away in another room entirely. A study from Princeton on attention and presence found that the mere visibility of a phone on a table, even switched off, measurably reduces the quality of connection between the people sitting near it. It signals to the people you live with that they have your full and undivided attention, because they actually do, without a device quietly competing for it. I know a mother of 3 in Nashville who started leaving her phone in a kitchen drawer every evening after dinner. She told me her teenage daughter, who rarely says much, started talking to her again within days. The 10th and final luxury is 3 lines in a journal before bed. 1 thing observed that day, 1 principle you're actively refining, 1 intention for tomorrow. A study from Yale on reflective writing and well-being found that even minimal nightly reflection, just a few sentences, measurably improves both sleep quality and next-day emotional regulation compared with no reflection at all. It signals that your own life is worth documenting in real time, not simply surviving and forgetting. I know a widow in Charleston who started this practice the year her husband passed, initially just to feel less alone with her own thoughts. She told me, 18 months later, that those 3 lines a night have become the steadiest relationship in her current life. Now that you've heard all 10, I want to come back to something. Everything in this list, the checklist, every ritual we've covered, lives inside the Undeniable's complete system, the full curriculum I built from 15 years of exactly this kind of observation. It's the resource that goes far deeper than any 15-minute video can. And it's linked below if you're ready for the complete version of this work. Here is what all 10 of these luxuries have in common. And it is the only thing I want you to remember if you remember nothing else. None of them cost very much. None of them require more time than you already have. What they require is a decision. The decision that your ordinary Tuesday is worth the same care you'd give a special occasion. Marisol didn't get her life back by changing her circumstances. She got it back by refusing to let an ordinary evening go undressed. Luxury was never about money. It was always about attention. Here is your assignment. Choose 3 of these 10 luxuries. Start with the flowers and the candle. They work well together. And practice them deliberately for the next 10 days. Then come back and comment. I practiced flowers and the evening candle. And here is what shifted. Tell me what you noticed, what someone else noticed, what felt different in your own house. Comment below or send me an email. I read every one. Subscribe and hit the bell because there's a video on your screen right now that I'd like you to watch next. It goes even deeper into the exact rituals we touched on today. Until next time, to every woman watching, you are not here by accident. You are an undeniable. Act like it, Isabel.